Does this image look a little familiar? That tangled web of thoughts where you can't seem to find a clear way out? Well, that's what overthinking feels like for so many of us. Today, we're going to untangle that mess. We're going to dive into why our brains get so stuck in these loops. And most importantly, we're going to talk about the tools to finally break that cycle. So, let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? Like you're on a mental hamster wheel, just spinning and spinning, but you're not actually going anywhere. It's like being trapped, but the trap is your own mind.
And it almost always starts with a simple little question, like this one, doesn't it? It's like a tiny seed of doubt that just blossoms into this huge forest of worry. And it's always focused on the worst possible outcome. Or maybe it's not about the future. Maybe it's about the past. You find yourself replaying a conversation, some small action, a decision you made, and you just pick it apart from every single angle, looking for the flaw. And this is the classic. It's the voice of regret, of self-doubt. It's that one thought that keeps you totally stuck in the past, making it feel impossible to move on. If any of these sound like they were pulled straight from your own head, you are definitely in the right place. So let's get on the same page. What are we actually talking about when we say overthinking? Let's define this mental loop that so many of us get caught in. At its heart, it's just this repetitive cycle. This isn't productive problem solving, not at all. It's just running through the same worries over and over again without ever getting to a conclusion or, actually doing anything. It's a loop with no exit sign. And this slide really nails the problem. Overthinking locks us into analysis mode. We feel like we're being productive, right? We're analyzing, we're thinking, but what's really happening is we're keeping ourselves from ever getting into action mode. And that's the only place where things actually change. Okay, so we know what it is, but the big question is, why? Why do our brains even do this? Let's dig into some of the root causes. Now, what's really interesting here is how all these causes are connected. That fear of failure, that can make you feel like you have to control every little thing. A painful experience you had in the past can make you terrified of messing up again. And when you don't really know what to want, when you lack that clarity, your mind just spins and spins, analyzing every possible option to death. And there's actually a biological reason for this. Our brains are basically hardwired to worry. We've got this little alarm system called the amygdala. Its job is to spot danger, and when it thinks it sees a threat, even if it's just an emotional one, like a tough conversation, it kicks off these worry loops. So here's the key. Your brain is actually trying to protect you. It just gets stuck in overdrive and accidentally creates the very stress it's trying to help you avoid. Yeah, this isn't just some harmless little quirk. Getting stuck in your head has real, actual consequences for our health and our happiness. Let's take a look at the high price we pay for all this worry. The impact is huge, both mentally and physically. It obviously fuels stress and anxiety, which can then show up as headaches or just feeling exhausted all the time. It keeps you wide awake at night, just replaying things in your head. It makes you procrastinate because you're just too afraid to make the wrong choice. And over time, all of that just eats away at your confidence, making even the smallest decisions feel impossible. And if there's one thing to take away, it's this. After all that mental energy, all that spinning, all that worry, not a single thing has been solved. In fact, overthinking just acts like a magnifying glass. It makes the problem feel way bigger and more intimidating than it actually is. Okay, so we've defined the problem, we understand why it happens, and we see the costs. Now for the best part, the solutions. Let's build your personal toolkit with some real practical things you can do to break the cycle. First step, we've got a super powerful grounding technique called the 5-4-3-2-1 method. When your mind is spiraling out of control, this literally forces you out of that abstract world of worry and brings you back into the real physical world. You just, right where you are, name 5 things you can see, then 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, and so on. It pulls you out of your head by engaging your senses. It sounds simple, but trust me, it's incredibly effective. All right, this next one is all about containing the problem. The idea is to set a worry timer. So instead of letting your worries just spill out and ruin your entire day, you put them in a box. And you give yourself a specific, short amount of time, say just 10 minutes, to worry. Let it all out. But when a worry pops up outside that time, you just tell yourself, nope, I'll think about that later, during my worry time. It's like you're training your brain to stop interrupting you all day long.
It puts you back in charge. This next tool, this one is a total game changer. It's all about where you choose to focus your energy. Overthinking loves it when we try to manage all the things in that cannot control column. What other people think, what's gonna happen. It's impossible. But when you consciously shift your focus to what you can control, your own actions, your effort, your attitude, you take your power back. You stop wasting all that energy. And here are 4 more quick ones for your toolkit. First, write your thoughts down. Just getting them out of your head and onto paper can stop them from looping. Second, get physical. Even a short walk can break that mental state. Third, get some perspective. Ask yourself, honestly, is this going to matter in a year? And maybe the most powerful of all, just take one small step. Any step. Action is the ultimate cure for being stuck in analysis. So, when it all comes down to it, the journey out of overthinking isn't about trying to find better thoughts or thinking the right way. It's about making that final, crucial shift from a state of constant thinking to a state of doing. And sometimes having a simple little affirmation like this can be a really powerful anchor. It's a conscious choice. When you feel that worry starting to creep in, just repeating this to yourself reminds you that you get to decide where your mental energy goes. And finally, we have to mention this because it's so important. While all these tools are fantastic and can really help, if overthinking is seriously impacting your work, your sleep, your life, day in and day out, talking to a mental health professional is a sign of incredible strength. It is always okay to seek help. So I'll leave you with this question. Forget trying to solve everything all at once. Just based on what we've talked about, what is one small, manageable step you can take today to shift from thinking to doing? Because that's where the change really begins.